This is quite the curious case indeed. Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today we'll be talking a little bit about Guido Mista. But first, let's take a look at last week's comment section. So, coming from Liam K 3451, the person states, yeah, massive Jojo fan here. Here are my thoughts. Number 1, it's going to be Steel Ball Run. Number 2, I have no idea why people are so always talking about horses and doing Steel Ball Run justice. Steel Ball Run isn't really an extremely popular part in Japan like it is in English-speaking communities. It's odd to me people think the story is either going to be done justice or not at all. They'll just use CGI and it'll be fine. It doesn't really matter if it looks good, they'll do it if they're asked. It will look like Part 6, a completely serviceable TV anime with a budget on the smaller side because it's David production. The bigger moments will have a bit more work put in them, but for the most part, it'll look completely okay. Number 3, I don't really think they'll ever adapt any spin-off or side story that was directly written by Araki. If they ever announce a spin-off that isn't more Rohan OVAs, I think they'll do a Dead Man's Questions adaptation, which is a short one-shot about Part 4's Yoshikage Kira, written and drawn by Araki. But even then, I don't think they'll ever do that, probably. I think they'll eventually do more Rohan stuff, though. Number 4, I don't think they'll do a remaster, but I wouldn't exactly turn it down, especially if they do more than just visual changes. I think Part 3 in particular could use some adjustments in terms of pacing. Number 5, assuming it is a Steel Ball Run anime, I'm actually not too excited. I love Part 7, but I actually don't think there's really anything about it that could be improved by an anime adaptation. I think it's perfectly fine as a manga, but it of course would still be super awesome to see it animated. I think the only thing I hope they do is add a scene where Lucy sees Johnny's birthmark, as there's a scene in the epilogue of Jojo where she mentions she saw it, but we never actually see this happen in Part 7. They've done something like this before, where they added the scene of the Crusaders taking a picture together in Part 3. That was an anime-only edition, since the manga, Jotaro was looking at it in Part 5, even though no such scene of them taking place existed in Part 3. Number 6. Speaking of Part 8, I hope the anime really is continuing on into the second continuity, 7 to 9, because I'd love to see Jojo animated. I think it could definitely benefit from an anime adaptation, especially if they rearrange and edit stuff to make it more coherent, because it's kind of all over the place. Alright, so let's go over this. Number 1. It like I said, it's possible. I mean, people have been guessing that as well, all over the posts on Twitter about it being Steel Ball Run, because it's been damn near 3 years since Stone Ocean's last chunk of episodes were added to Netflix. So yeah. For the second one, there was an interview. I remember them talking about wanting better animation improvements for Steel Ball Run. If I can find it, I'll leave it linked in the description below. But that was one of the things I remember back from, 2022, 2023. Shortly after the last chunk of Stone Ocean So yeah. Part 3, number 3. Uh, that was something I threw as like a dart on a board, and that was one of probably the more um, famous one-offs that people talk about, which is Jojo Joestar. Not only that, Joji Joestar. Not only that, but it also is part of what could be considered a third timeline, since they gave cars a stand. But I do know about Dead Man's Questions. That feels like, from the story of it, it feels like I don't remember what it was. Whatever. But I know about it, and I know what it was about. So, for some reason, it made me think of the Doctor from Part 8. For some reason, with his hat. So, uh, either way, I mean, either more Rohan or even Dead Man's Question. Something. Okay, number 4. The remaster. In terms of part 3, I think really the biggest change they could do is take a look at the Stardust Crusaders OVA in terms of how the fights were and try to imitate it for a remaster. Because a lot of people, there are videos that state that the OVA fights were actually better than the full-on series fights for Stardust Crusaders, comparing the Dio and Jojo fight. So yeah, just gonna throw that out there. Number 5. In general, more JoJo is always better. Like, I know there's gonna be like, just like with the stagnant air of Kingdom Hearts, people, major people that do videos for it are like buckling down to like minor menu options in Kingdom Hearts games, which is really weird to say, but yeah, something to keep them sane. But yeah, adding in things with the anime in terms of explaining certain situations, certain scenes that in the manga doesn't get explained or shown, or is always good. And finally, hope the anime really is continuing. Well, they did say something animation-wise was announced, so sort of given, but it, like I said, it wasn't actually specifically stated as to what. I mean, even a hint of, okay, major series, just in animation. So, if it is a major one, and if it is 7, hopefully it does well to where people want part 8 to be done. And then eventually, Jojo lands. So yeah. That's my whole thought on that matter. And with that, we'll get to today's topic, which is so as we know, during Vento Aureo, Guido Mista has a deep-seated superstition about the number 4, and while he does mention a story revolving around why he has this superstition. I really don't buy it as the absolute truth, considering that story was about a childhood friend who adopted a cat out of a litter of 4 and ended up getting his eye scratched out. So, like, what is the real reason behind his superstition of the number 4 in universe, by the way? Because I know in Japan, the number 4 is synonymous with death, which is why their unlucky number is actually 444, as opposed to in the US and in English, I believe, just in general, the unlucky number is 666. So, yeah. But yeah, what is the real reason in universe? Because I tried looking up everything concerning the show. I even looked up videos. There's a whole video dedicated to the instances of the number 4. I will link it down below in the description. But that thought came to mind a couple weeks ago, at least a couple weeks ago, from the comment section mentioning that Guido and Mista would not like the video, considering it was all 4s, in which I had mentioned that the actual video length was a second shorter than what the finalized one on YouTube ended up being, which was 4 minutes and 45 seconds, as opposed to in the video editor 4 minutes and 44 seconds and 17 microseconds. So, anyways, is there really an in-universe reason apart from that one throwaway story? Because I couldn't seem to find one. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today, because that is one curious case indeed. Till next time, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day.